Here you go. Today's daily deal. Save 50% on dry cleaning services from all Capital Cleaners locations in Delaware.
And don't forget, you can get the daily deal on DelmarvaLife.com or download the free Delmarva Life Daily Deal app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android.
All righty, here you go. Imagine a time in Vegas back when there were cowboys, sheriffs, gangsters. It was the 1960s when tumbleweeds were being replaced by casinos and entertainment, and the top Hollywood elite rubbed elbows with the mob.
That reality is the setting for the new CBS show Vegas, starring Michael Chiklis, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Dennis Quaid. Quaid plays a legendary Sin City top lawman, Ralph Lamb. It's a classic case of good versus evil. This is Vegas.
Action!
There's that smoky, sexy feeling about Vegas. It's a time of neon and showgirls and scotch tumblers.
People didn't feel the need to be politically correct back then. Or even know what that was.
Right.
Speed. Here, Mark.
The setting is Las Vegas. It's the 1960s, the era of the Rat Pack, when the glittering strip was lined with gold.
Everyone was coming to Vegas that time. It was the destination of the entire country. It's where you went if you stole money, and where you wanted to make money, and where you ultimately lose money.
Every crew in the country's planted their flags. I'm gonna plant mine.
But it was mob money that was transforming the dusty frontier town into a gambling and entertainment mecca. And a two-fisted sheriff, Ralph Lamb, portrayed in the new CBS TV series by Dennis Quaid, was determined to keep the criminal element under control.
Unless you have a search warrant, I suggest you and your boys get the hell out of my casino. You're trespassing.
I'm the law here, Mr. Savino, and I will decide who's breaking it.
Every kid in the world wanted to be either a cowboy or a sheriff, and I was already a cowboy, so I just got the sheriff's job. It wasn't easy either.
At the age of 85, the real-life Ralph Lamb still stands tall. The man they call the Cowboy Sheriff is a living legend in Las Vegas.
He was the real deal, probably the toughest lawman to ever walk the streets of Las Vegas.
He's quite a character. He's quite a colorful character. What people of Las Vegas liked about him is that he kept things clean.
Lamb is a homegrown hero, coming from a dirt-poor family of cattle ranchers and rodeo ropers. He went to work as a sheriff's deputy in 1947. In 1961, he became sheriff, ruling Las Vegas for almost 20 years. And his unique combination of brains and brawn is a highlight of the TV series.
You don't look like the law.
I've been hearing that.
If you was going to stay alive, you better have some street smarts with some of the people that was around here.
My guess is that the mob did underestimate him. Look at this guy. We'll run circles around this country bumpkin, but they quickly learned that he was a formidable person, a smart person, and no one to mess around with.
Everybody's here.
With funding from the Teamsters Union, known mobsters were building casinos and setting up shop legally. To make sure it all stayed legal, Sheriff Lamb set up an intelligence network that kept tabs on all of them.
We had perfect control. We knew where everybody was, who was working, who wasn't working. We didn't want any violence, somebody getting murdered here in the street.
The position of sheriff under Ralph Lamb became the most powerful position in the state. He controlled liquor licenses. He instituted work cards for anyone who wanted to work in a casino. That meant they had to be photographed and fingerprinted.
And since Las Vegas was their golden goose, the reputed mobsters grudgingly fell in line. Except for one man, Johnny Rosselli, who thought he didn't have to go downtown and smile for Sheriff Ralph Lamb.
So they grabbed him over the top of the table and drug him out over the table, and they took him down to jail. They took that $1,500 suit off him and deloused him. He didn't like that at all.
He wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. He wasn't afraid to get his knuckles bloody.
Does that pretty mouth do more than talk?
What are you... That was rude.
I kept hearing these stories about this mythic figure who had been the sheriff in Las Vegas at the time when the mob arrived, and the battles he had with the mob and his own notion of justice.
Famed writer Nicholas Pileggi immersed himself in the world of the mob to write hit screenplays like Goodfellas and Casino. He's been intrigued by the Lamb legend for years.
To me, it was like the West versus the East. It was Gary Cooper versus Edward G. Robinson.
Gary Cooper and John Wayne were heroes of mine. I'd love to have been like them.
And many in Vegas would say he is.
I just did what I thought was the right thing all the time. I just couldn't fathom them doing a show after me. I thought it might be a local thing. But Dennis Quaid's name was a big name, and I liked him, respected him for his acting ability.
And then he got to know me.
That's right. And then it all went away.
And again, the series premiere for Vegas airs tonight at 10 right here on WBOC.
Thank you for watching Delmarva Live. Be sure to join us tomorrow because our very own Brian Spiros, in case you didn't know, is getting married this week. Yay. He wanted to make his first dance a special one, so he and his fiancee took dance lessons, and we followed him into the dance room to see if Brian really can pull off the waltz.
Got to see this. Plus, it's Life Insurance Awareness Month, why you may want to consider the investment and how much you'll need.
Now, don't forget, you can also visit DelmarvaLife.com on your mobile device. And if you have an iPad user, you can also watch us there. Coming up next on WBOC, Dr. Oz.
And we want to thank our studio audience for joining us today. If you'd like to become a member of our studio audience, visit DelmarvaLife.com. Click on the Show tab.
Delmarva Life, life at its best, here on Delmarva.